Hey guys, welcome to this question and answer session with the Pattern Trader. My name is Mark Shawzin, the Pattern Trader. I'll be taking some questions over the next 20 or 30 minutes. Call in, tell me what you're trading. Let's discuss what's going on. There's just so many things going on in the markets. We had a crypto crash yesterday, had a mini Dow crash. I've been playing the markets like a fiddle. I bought some puts on the Dow 2 days ago before it crashed 276 points intraday, and then opened 500 points lower on the opening yesterday. Made about 97 grand, on those option positions. And then today I came in long the QQQs and they're up 500 points. So I'm just knocking it out of the park. I'm long stocks like CrowdStrike, Snowflake, and CRM, which is Salesforce. And I've also started getting a big position short QuantumScape, QS. So I made a lot of money shorting QuantumScape. It had this, rally, and now it's kind of coming under these technical levels. And I started getting a big short position on QS. So there's, a lot of things going on in the markets. We have this mini melt up going on in the NASDAQ. I think that a lot of these beaten down stocks, I was shorting like Zoom and Peloton. I said a couple of weeks ago that I think that game's over, that these things have likely bottomed. And that's exactly what happened. Zoom hit 275. We're at 322 right now. So all the dogs are running, except for QuantumScape. Hopefully not. I've got a monster position of QS. So let me know what you guys are trading. Let me know if you have any questions. I've been long on the FX side, pound versus New Zealand dollar. Kind of came back today a little bit. But I still like that on the long side. I'm long the euro versus the yen. I'm long pound yen. And those are all hanging out at their highs. I also got long US dollar versus yen last night too. So looks like the yen trades are weakening here. No, I didn't actually get tagged into the dollar yen trade, thankfully. So type in any questions you have. If you want to look at any markets, if you want to chat about anything, I'll hang out for the next 15 minutes. I'm just watching the markets anyway. So got QuantumScape down about 2.5% today on a day that the market's up about 2%. So I find that an interesting divergence. And, QuantumScape is so technically weak that, I buy strength and sell weakness. Are you guys out there? Got any questions? Anything you guys want to say? The only thing I was kind of surprised at, I went long, bought some calls in Lyft, LYFT, and they're kind of like flaking out here. There's no follow through to the upside, so I dumped those calls at a loss and just moved on. But I'm heavily short QS, so I'm kind of keeping my eyes peeled on that. Yesterday's low was around 2770, and today we punctured that low. Went to a low of 2742, so we're making lower lows. And I don't know if you guys are hearing me. I'm not seeing anybody come through. MK says, what do you think about shorting the DAX? I don't know that I would do that. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, I think these stock markets are going to power for another move here to the upside. I thought they were going to, flake out the other day, and then yesterday we had a huge key reversal. Dusan says, what do you think about the Dow Jones? Again, I thought we were, going to come off. I was short the Dow Jones 2 days ago. There was an area at about the 34,500. There was 2 days where it stalled out there, and then on the third day, I don't know. I just, I saw that the Nasdaq was making a new high, but the S&P and the Dow were stalling. And so I just bought, and I never buy puts on the Dow. I always do everything on the QQQs. I always buy my options, and I don't know. I saw the Nasdaq going strong, the Dow stalling out, and so I bought these puts for around $1.08, and I blew them out for about 450 a day later. I made about 97 grand in about a day. And then yesterday you had this huge key reversal. You made a new low, closed right on the high of the day at an area that you made a previous new low. So now I think you're gonna, you could have a melt up here where things are going to go up really, really quickly. So I'm long everything on the board except QuantumScape. So I'm short QS. Fidel says, what do you think about Square? I prefer probably PayPal over Square. Square is heavily linked to cryptos. It's got a bit of a bottom here, but I would rather do. It's got this nasty double top. It's obviously got the support here. I don't like it as much. I would rather do PayPal. Ben wants to look at Baidu, BIDU. Yeah, I don't love this. A lot of these stocks have found support. This thing looks like it's just dribbling along the bottom. I don't see that this has any energy. So I'd rather buy like CRM, Snowflake. These are things that have come down, but they look like they're got some momentum. I like WIX, Intuit. There's like a whole bunch of things, but no, I'd leave Baidu alone. I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't sell it. Felix says, what about STAA? Don't know that ticker. Always kind of learn from you guys. Star Surgical. Yeah, it's kind of betwixt and between. For me, when I look at trades, I try and determine and how to assess my risk as well as my upside. And for something like STAA, it just feels like it's hard to do that. I do feel like it's on a long-term uptrend. And I think, with this surge, and it does feel like this, is going to, go with that trend. So it's all right. It's in the middle. It's between 112 and 135. So the path of least resistance seems higher. I don't know where you'd actually just put your risk right here. So I'm looking at this QuantumScape starting to dribble down to the lows again. QS, man, watch at the, it's a little out of the way stock, but $2 move on QuantumScape's like 10%. So CJ says, I know you're long euro yen, but is it over? I can't see extended. I've thought the euro yen's been overextended for weeks now, but it's still the path of least resistance seems to keep going higher. So you just got to get out of the way and let it keep going higher. I don't know what overextended means. It just let me just see. I mean, we're right in this resistance zone. I said as much. There's a huge resistance zone at 134 and then at 138, but week over week, I don't see any reversals or any patterns to tell me that it's going to go lower. So while it could, bang around here in a, 150 pip zone, I don't, I don't see how this is going to come off meaningfully. So I would use any pullbacks in euro yen to get long, actually. So Herberto says, what do you think about commodities? So I was a commodities Series 3 licensed commodities broker. I trade orange juice and copper and live hogs and cattle, and I've traded everything under the sun. So I trade everything. It looks like the commodities are taking a bit of a break here. Lumber, had a huge meltdown from one contract to the other. It reached a high of 1,600, and now we're about 1,300. So I think the commodities are starting to temper, and maybe that's why the stocks are starting to pick up steam again. What I think about pound US dollar, I think the dollar is going lower. I think pound US dollar is going higher. Kirby wants to know about Deere, ticker symbol DE, announcing earnings tomorrow. I don't know. That looks like double top head and shoulders type thing. I mean, the long term trend is obviously up, but it broke. It broke hard. I mean, I don't know that you want to fight it. I don't know that you want to short it here because it's plummeted so much. So I'll kind of leave this one alone. But it looks like it's topped out. Probably sell into earnings. If it has bullish impact after earnings, maybe just sell into that. Let's see what you're trying to think if I've not gotten any of your questions here. So, how have you guys been doing in the markets? I've had just a ridiculous. I've had a ridiculous 3 months, but in the last couple of days, I've nailed the markets short, long, every instrument under the sun. I've been trading, Salesforce, CrowdStrike. So yesterday, the Dow came in 500 points lower on the opening. The Nasdaq got punished, and the stock CrowdStrike (CRWD) closed the previous day at 298, 198. 198. And then with the huge lower opening, it opened around 189 to 190. And I started just buying so many shares at about 191. And then today they hit 203. So sometimes the markets just hand you these gifts and, you just got to say thank you very much. So I've just been nailing the markets. I've been doing this webinar series, live webinar where I go into the markets live every night and showing people what I've been doing. And so I'm going to put, if you want to see the last session tonight, I'm going to put the link in the chat box. If I do these live sessions each day this week, the last one today is 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to check that out, where I show you on the charts, what I'm thinking. I said yesterday, 4:30, that I came in heavily long today. I bought the QQQ calls. I was long Salesforce. I was long Snowflake. I was long CrowdStrike. I was also long Lyft, and Lyft was the only dog that didn't bark. And I've just been making just a ridiculous amount of money in the markets. It's been pretty fun. So Felix says CRWD, is it okay to buy more now? I don't really like to do things intraday. It's like we've had a bit of a pullback. I would think you could buy it. Yeah, it looks like it's kind of selling off. I like Snowflake. I'd probably do Snowflake over CrowdStrike right now. I don't know. It just seems like it has better momentum. SNOW. But yeah, I think they're all good. So yeah, all of these stocks are running. Even Tesla, shorting Tesla. I saw it had a little bit of a reversal. I wish I'd kind of gone home long. It opened up about $15. Tesla, I don't know. I think Tesla's broken a key support to the downside. So I'd look for any rally back into like a 620 area to start getting short Tesla again. But we'll see how that goes. Daniel says, what do you think about AMC? So, it's kind of a dog with fleas that keeps running. I tried to short AMC earlier. I don't know. You've got these rising lows. You've obviously got this resistance at 14. I'd probably kind of leave it alone right here. I've been looking at this thing. Yeah, it's kind of got this ascending triangle. Today you've got another reversal, which indicates maybe another push higher. So I would kind of leave this alone. It actually, ironically, looks like it wants to go higher. So to me, if you're going to short anything, QS. We're coming down to the lows of the day now, 27.50. The lows 27.42. So yesterday the low was 2770. It was a little inside day bar, little micro range, and I just put my sell stop right under yesterday's low and just got triggered into the trade at 2770. It's now 2750, and now you could get a push to the low 20s, I think. So, even a market that's going up, it's a market of stocks, not a stock market. Some are going down, some are going up. And I just try and get in sync with, whatever's happening here. And I've been like a remora fish swimming in the slipstream here. I actually can't believe how much money I've made in just the last 3 days. Under Armour, UAA, dog, UAA. Yeah, kind of don't like the look of that. That looks like it's forming a double top head and shoulders. There was all kinds of hype about that, on some recent earnings. It looks like a bull trap where it ran to a new high above, $25, $24. Yeah, I don't like the look of that at all. I don't know if it comes off. I don't know if I would rather short QuantumScape than that, but I wouldn't be buying that. Let's put it that way. What else are you guys trading? What are you interested in? Have you guys been successful? Do you incorporate some of my methodologies? I just look at trend, pattern, price action, trade execution. So if you don't know much about my methodology, check out my website tonight, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. ONTO. What is this thing? Yeah, kind of neither here nor there. Looks like we found support at the 55. Looks like everything else is going to get a push, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't find it that. I don't find a lot of sex appeal there. Michael wants to know about Cad Yen. So the Canadian dollar has been one of the strongest currencies, and the Japanese yen is weakening. So Canadian yen is going now. It's trading at this weekly resistance level around the 91. And I think you've got a paradigm shift in these yen pairs. I think you've had decades long of the yen strengthening, and now you're seeing yen weakening. And this could be one of the the better trades on the board this year. So I especially like long side of Canadian yen because the Canadian is inherently strong and the yen is weakening. So the two factors should, just kind of looking at this long-term weekly. You're looking at a breakout very soon, just above the one about the 92 cent area in 2018. So that's about the last barrier of resistance, about 150 pips from here. And then there seems to be a lot of blue sky above there. So I think these yen pairs are going to be. So Felix, I have a dollar yen buy stop. And that's the thing. I see my setup and then I require the market to confirm it. So yesterday I sent an email to our elite members, people on my daily email list, to put a buy stop. And the market didn't confirm it. It didn't go through it. So, and then it went lower. So my buy stop wasn't triggered. So I love when my, when I see something, but the market doesn't confirm it and then I don't get hurt. That to me is, Dennis says, because of big short, are you saying because of the big shorts in the AMC stock, the established shorts? So these are the meme stocks that the Reddit crowd has been beating up because they've been going after stocks with short positions. When you start getting volatility in here, I would just leave this one alone. I wouldn't buy it. I don't think it's ready to be shorted just yet. So I would kind of give this a little bit more time. So yeah, I would just leave that one alone. There's so many other things to do that are fertile and are going and are running. So I don't see any point in fighting, with something that's in a range or it's up and down and sideways. There's so many things that are, CRM has broken out, Snowflake broken out, Quantum Stake broken out. So I want to catch these momentums. I'm not going to just tie up my brain and my money looking at something that is, up, down, sideways, and it's had a pretty good run from 0 to 14 AMC. So it's like kind of these cryptos. I don't know how far it can run, but it's just I'm not going to play in that area. I'm really pissed. I dumped my QQQ calls on the opening. I did make like 3-1, but now I could have made 6-1. But I'm so used to the volatility and the early sell-offs and whatever that I've just learned now. If you make money in these call options, say thank you very much, and I'll look to maybe layer it. So I'll look for another sell-off today, an intraday sell-off, and then buy a higher up call. Because I do think you're looking like you're getting a melt up in this market. You could just get a monster move. QuantumScape is now making new lows. So I'm short. I'll tell you how many short. I have a monster position short this freaking stock. So I like to see, something where I can understand the risk reward. Like QuantumScape had this area, yesterday had a very small range day. So when it has a very small range, then I can really identify my risk. So if I got short at 27.70, my risk was about to 28.30. And I'm short, because 60,000 shares of QuantumScape. So good, healthy position there. So yeah, I just try and get in sync with the trades that are moving. I'm not interested in finding things that are just banging around, in a range. That's what most people do. They day trade, they try and carve 7 pips out here and 15 pips there, or a buck or two here. My thing is getting on trades and getting position and then going on a monster tear. I was shorting QuantumScape at 42, then 37. I closed out my trades at $26. That's what I'm looking for in my trades. And I can't, tell you how much money I made, guys. 7 figures in the last month. Just been a ridiculous run, up, down, sideways, and it's not magic. I'm just looking at technical trading things that you can find in any textbook. And then I kind of layer it, with my own plan, with my own kind of execution. So like, for instance, I saw a setup in Dollar Yen. I thought it looked like a bull setup. You had a reversal yesterday. I sent out an email to our members to put a stop. I don't know where it was, 109.37 or something, and it didn't get triggered. And that's the beauty. So I don't have to worry about it. So I'm not watching Dollar Yen today. Trying to think. 109.37. And the high today in Dollar Yen was 109.30. And now it's 108.80. So I didn't get triggered. No harm, no foul. And now, so I let the market do all the work. I had a pending sell stop in QuantumScape. Even though the market opened much higher, all the NASDAQ stocks are running. I saw QuantumScape was failing, and I saw this little inside bar yesterday. I just put my resting order there. And then if QuantumScape went up for the rest of the day, no harm, no foul. But it came down, it hit that entry order, and now I'm in a market, and we'll see where it goes from here. Yeah, I knew the NASDAQ was going to run today, but I didn't think it would run this hard, this quickly. So Michael says, when do you delete your pending orders? So it's really a good question. So, if I feel the setup, still has integrity, like 2 days ago, I sent out a buy stop in the pound versus New Zealand dollar, and it didn't get triggered. And then the next day I said, just keep the stop in the same area. And then it got triggered. So frankly, if a setup is still valid to me, just because it doesn't get triggered, or perhaps it goes into a little zone, it doesn't mean that it invalidates your original analysis. And probably a good example of that is the stock of WRK. So I was looking at WRK in the high 40s, 49. I said, to our members, 47, 49. I said, this is a great setup. I think this thing's going to run and run hard. And then what happened was WRK just went into this 2 month zone, between 54 and 50, 54, 50. And to me, just because it kind of went nowhere doesn't mean that it invalidated what I was looking at. And then all of a sudden, from nowhere, it broke out to 61 and made, multi-year high last week. So it's a good question, Michael. I usually say on my daily emails to my daily trades, if it doesn't get hit like dollar yen, just delete it. And then, move on and we'll look at something else. But, if the trade's still good, you can still leave it in there. Now, on my Sunday, I give trades based on the weekly charts. And those entries, as well as the stop losses, are good for the week. So if I have a weekly trade and I say it's a buy stop, then you should leave that entry, for the entire week. And I love getting, hit on those. I remember dollar yen. I had an entry order on a Sunday at 111.61. And on Monday, Tuesday, this thing runs to, 112 and a half or something like that, kind of makes a new high. And then by Wednesday, comes and hits my pending order. So I'm not up in the middle of the night. I'm not sitting in front of my charts. I'm not watching some moving average crossover. I had a weekly pending, sell stop in dollar yen at 111.61, goes to 112.30. And then, I don't know, in the middle of this night or whatever I'm hit at my 111.61, and it never saw my price again. It went all the way to 105. I made 650 pips on that trade. So, to me, the market puts you in, the market takes you out. So right now, the market is going crazy. The NASDAQ, I wish I'd kept my calls. But, I'm long a whole bunch of these stocks. I'm long Crowd. I'm long Snowflake, which is, on the high. Long CRM, which is on the high. And I'm short QuantumScape. So Warren, again, odd New Zealand, is something that with all the things that are going on, in the market, you shouldn't consume your time with these kind of pairs. These are kind of just cross pairs that, it just goes nowhere. If you had to put a gun to my head, I think it goes higher. But maybe it gives you a reference on how to trade the Aussie trade versus the New Zealand trade. Sometimes I kind of look at that. If I'm looking to, go long pound Australian or pound New Zealand, I'll kind of look at this cross to see maybe a guide. But by and large, just take that off your screen. It's just a waste of time. There's so many things that are going on. And that's exactly the kind of thing. If you got something that's going like this, why do you want to do something like this? I want to go in things that are going this way or that way. Unless you're, buying, call spreads or put spreads on it, and you're selling out of the money calls against out of the money puts, so you want to do something like that. But other than that, there's 10,000 instruments out there, and, you have to put your focus somewhere. And I just look at charts like that, and, I look to reject trades. I'm trying to get closer and closer to, that setup where I can identify the risk reward, where something's going to run, where you're going to have momentum. And, right now the momentum in the NASDAQ's to the upside. So I'm long all these, out of favor stocks and, short QuantumScape. So that's what I try and do. I try and either get, in sync with a trend that's already established, something that's been going up or going down, and you just try and find a way to get in there where you understand the risk reward, or really where I feel, my strategic advantage is seeing the turn from one direction to the other. And, it's not that difficult. It basically, the market stakes out a pattern. It creates this certain price action before it goes. And this is really where I get in these early entries. And then, I get in early. And then when the thing happens, you just get a huge push. And I just make, just all kinds of money when it goes from one level to the other. All right, guys, anything else? The only surprise today is Lyft and Uber. I thought they closed well. I thought they would have another push higher, and now they're selling off. Probably create another opportunity at some other point. Chris, what is the symbol Alteryx? If you give me things, just give me the symbols. So Michael says, for options, are you ever holding them for a long time? Usually, I'm buying options only 1 week ahead, Michael, because it gets much more expensive. So my whole thing on options, I'm not an expert in options. I don't know how to spell theta and delta and gamma and evaluate options from that standpoint. The way I look at options is that to me, I am looking at the underlying instrument, so an underlying stock that's either going to go up or down, or an index that's going to go up and down. And then you have to say to yourself, with options, it's really important about timing. So many times I will, like for Snowflake and CrowdStrike and Zoom and others, you see that I'm really mainly buying the stock, and they're very expensive. They're $200-300 stocks, and to have a nice position, you got to invest a lot of money. I would prefer to have some leverage, but the options to me are too expensive. And what do I mean by expensive is that, options, certainly trading, naked calls and naked puts is very risky. More often than not, you're risking 100% of whatever you put in there. So in order to justify these options bets, I've got to, have plays where I make 4-1, 5-1, 8-1, 10-1, and I've had so many of those lately. To justify that. So in order to make at least 3 to 5 to 1, if I was looking at some options like on CrowdStrike or something, and a couple of series out, the options are $4 or $5. So the stock has to put on just a gigantic move, a $20 move for you to make 3 to 1. Where I got in the Dow Jones yesterday, I bought the options at $1.08 and I got out at 4.50. Today, I got in the QQQ calls at 117, and I got out at 275. And I bet you they went to double that. I bet you they went to 5. So I'm always, typically there are some stocks where you see that they give you an option series that is 4 or 6 weeks out. I remember I was trading KTOS, and it gave me like a 6-week window to just camp out in that. And that would be my preference. But most of the options, if you start going more than a week out, then you have to pay more and more and more, and then you lose your leverage. So then it really becomes a game of chicken, where you've got to be right, and then you've got to be right in that week. So, I remember it's like I start every like Friday or Monday with some position on, and now it's like it's a race, that week to see if you can get, to your strike or to get some move. And then one little move against you, or if it just goes sideways, your premium starts draining. So I don't really buy long options out. It just, sometimes I think about it. I see what I think is a big move setting up, and invariably I don't do it. I know you can buy these 1-year options. They're called leaps. I wanted to buy some leap call options on the Aussie dollar, when it was in the 70s, and I didn't do it. But typically I'm going pretty short term out. I'm just playing it for a move that I think is going to happen very, very quickly. So Michael says, seems like the options you're doing are 1 week expiry. Pretty much. Like I bought these QQQs last night. I bought these calls last night at the close. So that's Wednesday night. That means I had 2 days, today and tomorrow, for these things to pay, or I'm done. And that's why I kind of leapt out so quickly, because you have one move against you. You don't have the time to keep making it up. So it's really a game of chicken. Um, it's fun, but it's it's stressful. QuantumScape new lows 27.36. So Chris wants to look at AYX, Alteryx, AYX. Yeah, I had this on my screen the other day. This to me looks like a great short. I really like this. I think you asked about this, before, Chris, because I have it on my list here, and it's on my list here, and now you can see it's in this descending wedge down here, and it looks like you have a key reversal. And I was thinking about shorting it the other day, but it just, it has had to get through that 70. So I like how this is kind of going lower and lower, and I will probably start looking at. I'm going to see how this closes, and I might look at some put options for next week, Chris. So I like that. In fact, I have it on my screen. Let me check this out. So I'm going to check out these options here. So obviously tomorrow's options are expiring tomorrow. What is this thing? This thing's trading at $76. So let's just check these puts out real quick. There's actually some good volume in them. So the 75 puts are trading at 68 cents, which means this has got to go to $64.30 roughly. And so that's what I say to myself. So I wouldn't do this for tomorrow. I don't think that. But going into next week, let me see. And actually, see, these give you the AYX. Now, these I like because they give you a lot of time to hang out. The next series is June 18th. So the 75s for June 18th are $3. The 70s are $2. So if you say 70s for $2, then the break even is $68. And then you say to yourself, can I see this thing going to $68? So I don't really love this play, because on $2, if I want to make 3-1, then I've got to make $6 on my trade. So this thing has got to, close at like $64 by June 18th. Actually, look, it has a month to do it, and this thing looks pretty bad. So I might check these things out, but I'd probably just, because this thing is just sitting on a ledge. This thing is sitting on a ledge. There is some support here, so you never know sometimes if the support can kick in, but this thing looks really, really bad. I don't know if there's an earnings announcement or some catalyst, but I'm going to take a look at something. I'll probably just end up shorting the stock. So Doosan, I don't look at a lot of European companies. I probably should. There's just so many, that I follow here that I can barely keep up with, what I'm looking at here. So I really don't, which really, defines me as a Yank, that doesn't look outside, our own country. And I'm not. I'm a European. I'm South African. And I kind of really resent how, Americans are so insular. But I guess you could accuse me of the same thing because I don't. It just, I have enough, names, with what I look at here. I don't know if there's any ADRs or anything that trades on the U.S. exchanges. But at the moment, I'm not, to tell you the truth. And I know that that's probably where the next opportunity is because Europe's going into a recession. So if they come out, that's kind of where the next opportunity is going to be. So I think, Jazz, I looked at Baidu earlier. If I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it was Baidu Baba. I don't think much of it at all. I would just leave this alone. It's kind of not a buy. It's not a sell. It kind of looks like it's just going to meander around here. Look, I mean, like all of these stocks, there is some support in here, and who knows, it could light fire here. So there is probably a good risk reward where you could probably buy it here and hang out and feel if anything's going to happen without getting hurt. I just feel like you're fighting such a long, kind of downtrend. But look, I mean, I'm buying Snowflake. It kind of looks like this, although perhaps, has a little bit more of energy. If you look at Snowflake, you can see it's got energy out of here. So I just try and, find where the energy is. So Kirby says, what made the Dow Jones puts? I'm curious how you played this short term. Yeah, so Kirby, 2 days ago, both the S&P and the Dow Jones had these bars where, they made a new high, and then, 2 days after that, they were banging up and couldn't make a new high, whereas the NASDAQ went to a slightly new high in that same sequence. So I was thinking right then that the whole market was going to turn, including the NASDAQ. But of all of them, the Dow seemed like the weaker one because the NASDAQ was going to new highs and the Dow couldn't make it. So I never buy Dow puts. I mean, I don't know what made me do it. I just felt like there was a general market stall and everything was going to turn. And I was right. I mean, it only happened for about a day, but it was enough. And then I started buying it, what did I say, Thursday? I started buying it early on Tuesday. And then it kind of had some moves, and I was thinking I was wrong. What am I doing? And I just left it. And then by the end of the day, the Dow Jones collapsed 250 points on the close. And then yesterday, before the market opened, the Dow Jones was down 500. So as the market opened, I just closed those puts. I said, thank you very much. I closed them out about 450. I paid about $1.08. I made 97 grand from the on the opening. Wow, this NASDAQ is running. But QuantumScape isn't. QuantumScape's on the low. I love that. I love those disparities. So I'm heavily long Snow and Salesforce, and heavily short QuantumScape right now. And I wish I was in these QQQ calls. I was kind of waiting some point today that there was going to be some sell-off. And sometimes when you get these melt-ups, they don't let you in. They just keep going higher. So that's okay. I'm making just a ridiculous amount of money. I cannot complain. So Kirby says you have a great short-term feel. Yeah, I like to think that. Look, I look at stocks or anything based on. So I think it's, so when you say short term, it implies that I'm just kind of in and out day trading. And the markets have been so, I saw the markets, the stock markets roll lower, and I got short the other day, and then I saw them put in a bid yesterday and I got long. So yes, I made those adjustments. But if you look at like QuantumScape, I've been shorting QuantumScape every time it made a bounce from 50 to 60, 50 to 60. Then the new round range was 40 to 50, and then it was 30 to 40. And I was, and then I had those bets on for, a while, for a couple weeks. So I will stay in something if the trend is still good. So I'm not necessarily, I know I've been making some good adjustments, but I will stay in this. I would like to stay in this QuantumScape now for weeks if it's going to go to 20 and then $15. Do you have a risk management plan? Yeah, you should. Risk is the most important component of your trades. And so I think my plan, look, I'll be honest, I take much bigger cuts at the market than I would advise you guys. But sometimes, like when I see QuantumScape, when you have such a narrow risk, and that's what I like about these narrow range bars, is that I don't know what the high yesterday was, 28.50 or whatever, and then the low was 27.70. So you had like a 70-cent range. So my thinking was, it's a downtrend. You have an inside bar. If you break that inside bar, it's going to continue in the direction of the thing. And then because of the size of this narrow range thing, I felt like I could take a peek at this thing. And, I understand the risk is also a component of where you are, in the trade, in the trend, in the setup. So sometimes you guys ask me some things and, it just seems like it's in the middle where I can't really quantify my risk as well. Where something like QuantumScape, I can quantify it to, 10 or 20 cents. I know if I'm wrong, if this thing starts going to 28.20, 28.30, I'm going to start feeling that this is wrong and I'll get out. So I put on a much bigger size position for, a given quantity of risk, but I kind of get into these things where I feel like I have no risk. And so we're 28, 27, 27 now on QuantumScape. We've broken 50 cents since, I started this discussion, and I've got 60,000 shares. So I made 30 grand in the last, 15 minutes. But in meantime, the stock market's been going straight up during this time. So that's when you got the tiger by the tail, when something's working. Now it's making new lows, 27, 23. So, but to me, QuantumScape, I took a much bigger risk for my account size, but I felt like I had very little risk by virtue of the setup. So the risk is a function of, how many dollars you're going to risk. But I think so many people are just betting arbitrarily, pick up 7 pips here, 15 pips there, and they're going to risk 10 pips, and what have you. And to me, that's a bigger risk because you can die a death of 1,000 paper cuts, even though you're taking a 10 pip stop loss. If you're getting stopped out all the time because you have these random trades and you really don't know what you're doing, eventually you're just going to bleed to death. So risk is a funny thing, but I would say in the main, you shouldn't risk more than 1% of your account on any one idea. I do more because I kind of feel comfortable that I know what I'm looking at, and I'll take some pretty good bangs on the head. But the thing is, my wins are so enormous that so I just have a certain way of looking at it, and I'm willing to take bigger hits on the market just because I have a confidence that I'll find something that will. But look, that also puts me in trouble because I've had streaks where I've had just horrible losses. So you got to be careful. But risk is both about the trade setup, and I think that the big portion of why people are not winning consistently is because it's not only a question of your risk, but also your outcome. So when I'm getting in QuantumScape at $40, I'm looking to for this thing to move to 30 to 25 to 20. And it did. It moved from 42 to 20, and I got out to 26 the other day, and now I'm back in again. So if I can get in at $39 and get out at $26, that is a huge outcome. That's a 40% move, and then I'm on leverage, and I made just an enormous amount of money on that. So now if I take another cut and I lose $1 here or $1 there because I've got a bigger, but it's being in those positions that allows me to take, the risk for, other things going forward, and also, makes me a very profitable and consistent winner because, identifying those moves that are going, the bigger moves. So instead of, getting out of, QuantumScape when it went from 39 to 37, I stay until 26. And that is the difference. And, and I say all you need is 2 or 3 of those trades a year. And it, makes your whole year. I mean, I'm done for the year. In the last 3 weeks, I'm saying, I'm out. So to my mind, you need, risk and outcome. So if you can set up your trade where you can see 3 times your reward for your risk. So if you're going to risk $3 and you can make $9, you'll make money over time. But what most people are doing is they're taking too small outcome. They're looking for 15 pips, or they're getting out after 80 cents or $1 or whatever they're looking for on the stock. And they're getting in and out very quickly and trying to do that multiple times a day. That is all. The only person who's going to win that game is your broker. So, that's why I kind of reacted when somebody said, you've been pretty good short-term trader. Yeah, I do think but I will stay in a trade for an extended period of time if it's working for me. And, it's my conviction that unless you have a certain number of those trades where you get 5 to 6 to, 8 to 1 rewards, very difficult to be profitable over the long run. Man, this NASDAQ just doesn't stop. When I told my members last night, I said it's going to be a melt up today. And it's a melt up. I just thought it would give me a little pullback. Reginald says, "What's your thoughts on New Zealand dollar Canadian?" And then I think I will leave it there. NZD CAD. I think that looks lower. It's staking out a nice. I've been looking at this thing for a while. I've been a little bit hesitant to, but yeah, I think this thing looks lower. Canadian is the strongest currency on the board. So yeah, you've got a lot of support here at the 86.50 level, 86 to 86.50. But this thing looks like it's coiling to break out in that direction. I like that trade short a lot. Mehmet says, "Are you stopping Nasdaq?" What do you mean by stopping? So I was, I had some calls coming in today, and I wanted to reload at a higher strike price. I just was waiting. I'm waiting for a pullback. So whenever they give me a 150 pip pullback, and it doesn't look like, sometimes these markets they just they don't let you in. Complete Well says, "What about silver?" I actually bailed on my silver and gold the other day. Took some good profits in there. It looks like the path of least resistance is higher. You've got a lot of resistance in this level. I kind of, I've kind of taken profits on my metals. I had a nice move from gold. I mean, actually, gold still looks like it's at this big resistance line. I'm very tempted, but I think I'm just going to leave it alone. I got in at 1830. I got out at 1870. Made a monster amount of money on that, and I'm just going to kind of leave it alone for here. So sometimes you just got to decide where you want to play, and for the most part, right now, I'm playing long these Nasdaq stocks and then short QuantumScape. So I just made the monster move. Gold and silver are trading in this resistance level, and it could be short sighted. They could keep breaking out of here, but I just feel the dollar feels like it's getting a little strength in here, and I'll just wait for the next setup type of thing. All right, guys, I think I'm going to end it there. Thanks for checking in. Check out the link tonight if you want to check out my webinar. I show you everything that I'm talking about on a live chart, so it's a little bit easier than this kind of discussion format. But check it out. QuantumScape 2728. So, Michael, you're welcome. Take care, guys. Have a healthy and prosperous trading day.